Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura, and I wanted to talk about my chronic illness. I was diagnosed with two of them. So I'm gonna wind up doing two separate videos because it's a lot of information and stories that I have, and I don't think it's gonna be enough time for this one particular video. So the one I'm gonna share with today, it is called Undifferentiated Connective Tissue Disease, which I'm gonna abbreviate UCTD. So when I was diagnosed with UCTD, it was during December 2018. But if most people who don't know what UCTD is, I'm going to read it from the website because unfortunately, with all of us who going through this, our memories are a little bit foggy, and it's really hard as of lately for me to keep a lot of information stored in my mind. There's good days and bad days, and believe me, this is one of my bad days. So the definition for undifferentiated connective tissue disease, it states here that it's an autoimmune disease that it can affect several systems in the body. Connective tissue disease is classified as undifferentiated CTD when signs and symptoms are consistent with CTD, which is connective tissue disease, but do not fully fulfill the diagnostic and classification criteria for one of the previous defined CTDs. So they claim the underlying causes of UCTD is unknown. It is a type of autoimmune disease, which means that the immune system malfunctions and mistakenly attacks a person's own healthy tissue, which is what is going on with me. The diagnosis is made by ruling out other conditions that can cause the same symptoms and aided by blood and urine tests and imaging studies such as X-ray, CT scans, and ultrasounds. Treatment usually includes a use of non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs. People with photosensitivity may help by avoiding prolonged exposures to sunlight, and those with Raynaud phenomenon should avoid exposure to extreme cold temperatures. So my UCTD, I did not get like the full impact right away. It started to come in little by little. So unfortunately, when I first started getting the symptoms of UCTD, I would say around the summer of 2013 was when I started getting little symptoms. One of them was I was breaking out in hives. Like, I looked like I had a sunburn. And I remembered it was in the summertime too. And I remember one of my coworkers used to say, "Well, what's going on with your arm? Why is your arm looking like that?" And I just like, I don't know. I didn't go to the beach or anything. I don't know. So that was like one of those things that I was just like, I didn't really think too much about it. Then 2014 kicked in. And all I can remember is that I started to experience a lot of fatigue. The fatigue was really bad. And I was like, okay. Now, I was kind of worried because I was thinking two different things. Because years ago, like around, I would say 2011, 2012, I was experiencing a lot of low iron. because I had, unfortunately, I had fibroid condition. So I was experiencing a lot of low iron. So I thought maybe I was having low iron again. Or, since my family history, a lot of the women have thyroid condition, like an underactive thyroid. I thought maybe by chance I might have that too. So I was kind of concerned with that. And on top of that, I remember I was having issues with my hair loss. I was losing hair at the same time. Like it's not like I was balding, because you can see I'm still have a decent hair, but I kept having like hair falling out, so it made me think maybe it was my thyroid. It was probably out of whack. And I told my doctor, I was like, listen, I'm feeling really tired. I'm not sure what's going on, but I really need to get checked out for it. And she was like, okay, we're going to run some labs and get that checked out. Got the results. Everything was normal. I thought it was just strange. All right. So she was like, well, if you're still feeling like that, we'll give it 6 months. If you still feel like that, we'll run some more labs. 6 months came. Still run some more labs to see what's going on. Nothing showed up. Then I would say 2015, things started like progressing a little bit. I would say like 2015, I started experiencing like my nails. I was having issues with my nails. And I don't know why. I just, like, these days, I'm a girly girl. I love to have pretty nails, painted nails, stuff like that. But unfortunately, I can't do my nails anymore. My nails started lifting from the bed, and it was causing so much pain. And it wasn't only in my hands, it was in my feet too. So it was just literally lifting. And every single time I felt my nail lifting from the nail bed, you see, I don't even wear nail polish. I was in a lot of pain, along with the fatigue, along with the hair loss. I was like, okay, this is getting, concerning, because suddenly I can't, for years and years, I was able to wear, like nail polish. I never really go to a nail salon to get, extensions or anything like that, but I always like to have a little nail polish, Couldn't do it anymore. Every time I wore it, my body will react to it. And the pain of my nails lifting was bad. After that, told the doctor that I went to my, checkup. And she said, okay, we're going to do is I'm going to refer you to a dermatologist and to have your nails be checked. But also at the same time, I started developing like a skin irritation. And it was weird because I was developing like the skin irritation, like my skin was like coming out with like a lot of pimples. And I wasn't sure why I was getting that, because I always kept myself clean. I always, I'm the type that I'm very anal when it comes to my body hygiene. So I was getting a lot of pimples on my arms. And so she said, you know what we're going to do is send you to a dermatologist, get you, checked out and see what's going on. So she sent me there. I remember they wind up taking a skin test. I have like a little scar in my arm take a little sample of the skin so they could test it. And they also did was cut a piece of nail from my feet to get that tested because they wanted to see if I had, psoriasis. Because she thought maybe by chance I might have psoriasis. Test 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 came back and didn't have psoriasis. They couldn't figure out what was going on with my nail. Also, at the same time, I wound up getting some skin condition, ficulitis, something like that, and they were prescribing me some cream so I could get that under control. Okay, so that settled that. Still had questions like why my nails were lifting. Then I would say maybe about the summer of 2015, I started getting like serious fatigue. The fatigue was just like really bad, and I just couldn't stay awake. It was really to the point like it was really concerning me because I didn't want to collapse, going to work, being in the office, especially if you have, your peers constantly looking at you, thinking that you might be on something. It was, I felt like it started to interfere my, my everyday life. So November came, I was like telling my doctor, listen, this is really getting out of hand. I really am having issues with the fatigue, and I really need to find out what's going on because it's starting to affect my performance at work. It's starting to affect my performance as a person, and, trying to take care of my responsibilities in my everyday life. So she was like, okay, we're going to run some more tests. So she decided to do is run an ANA test. And she's like, well, no, I'm going to set you another appointment for the beginning of the year. So if the test comes out positive, then I'll call you ahead of time and let you know what we're going to do next. So she ran the ANA test. Came back negative. Then I saw her at the beginning of, say, 2016. By then, I was starting to experience, another symptom, which I thought it was kind of disconcerting. I started experiencing symptoms of Raynaud's. I was like, okay, what is this? It kind of freaked me out because I started seeing blotches of red, and especially in the wintertime in New York City, in the January, February, the coldest months of the year, I started to develop this. And I was just like, okay, kind of freaked me out because there were some moments that, my hand looked white. And then there's moments like there was like blotches of red over my hands. And that was really kind of like freaking me out because I'm like, something's really wrong. This is not normal. And of course, make another round of appointments with my doctor. I started explaining, like these things happening in my hands, and I started taking pictures of it because I still have those pictures. Maybe I'll try to find a way to insert it. I'm still learning how to do film editing, so bear with me on this one. So I have pictures of my hands, having moments of Raynaud's. And I was showing to her, I'm like, this is not normal. This is what I'm getting. And she was like, okay, well, we'll do some more labs and see what's going on. And Sure enough, run more tests. Those tests came back negative. So then she started to see, like, thinking that maybe it's just me having like a how would say mental issues. Like maybe I'm stressing myself out with this and making it seem like I'm crazy, and I'm like, no, I felt very offended because of the fact that I'm not looking to be sick. I am looking to live my life, and the last thing I want to do is be in a hospital and spend time with doctors just because supposedly she thinks I want attention. I'm like, no. And sometimes, and I'm going to say this honestly, you have to be your own advocate when it comes to your health. Because a lot of the medical professions, in no matter what state, what country you're from, whatever, but they tend to forget that we are living human beings. And a lot of times when you go to them and you're paying services through your insurance, and if you're not getting the proper respect, then you need to put your foot down or find some other, doctor. So I literally would put my foot down and I was just like, no, I'm definitely nothing mentally wrong with me. I just know there's something really off. Because why would I be developing all these things and I'm coming to you and I'm telling you there's something really wrong? So she was trying to get me, I could refer you to a psychiatrist. Maybe you could have a talk with somebody, some talk therapy. I don't know. It was just like, I was so livid. I was just like, this is so ridiculous. I didn't see a psychiatrist because, first of all, I knew something was wrong in my body and it was not in the head. So I didn't see her until probably towards February. I mean, not February, November, maybe November. So I just left it as it is. Just whatever. 2017 came. Everything seemed to be okay. Like it calmed down. My body just like calmed down for a little while. And then like towards, I would say maybe 2018. The Raynaud's started kicking in a little more profusely. My hair loss was getting a little more intense. And then next thing you know, when the summer came, I went outside. I was at work, and I went outside to get a snack in one of the convenience stores. And I only went for like maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Came back, and it was one of the hottest days of the year. The first hottest days. Came back. When I looked down at my legs, because I was wearing a dress at that day and I was wearing sandals, and I looked down at my legs and I'm like, I kind of like, it's something like I was just like shocked to see my legs. My legs looked like it got swelled up. It looked like 2 ham hocks. But at the same time, I broke out in hives. Like, it looked like I had a sunburn on my legs. And it was swollen. I kind of like, it threw me off because I didn't want to start reacting weird at the office. But I sat there like, what the heck is going on? What the heck is going on? And I got really nervous because I'm like, this is not normal. This is definitely not normal. So I made an emergency appointment with my doctor, explaining what was going on. And then she was like, okay, what were you eating? Did you eat something different? I was like, no, I didn't even eat my snack yet. That's how thrown off I was. And so she goes, well, I'm gonna need you to do is start making a list of things that I need you to make a report. So eventually I'm gonna do a separate video on that. So I did a list of things that she wanted me on that report, and I brought it to her, and she looked through. There was nothing that was sticking out, because I detailed everything that I needed to share with her. Also, at the same token, I had my blood pressure was having an issue too, because also I have elevated blood pressure, and also I suffer with acid reflux. So I have those two issues going on as well, not just the other items too. So she was noticing my blood pressure was constantly high, and so she was trying to get me to, she told me, well, for a while she told me, oh, you need to lower your blood pressure by cutting down the salt and having a proper diet and blah blah blah. So I did that. I was trying to keep my diet under control, but for some reason my blood pressure kept going up, and it kept getting higher and higher. Now I was getting kind of like nervous because, first of all, I was trying to do my part on trying to stay healthy, and I felt like nothing was working. So the doctor said, well, I'm going to do is I'm going to run another set of labs. We're going to run for another ANA. We're going to do some other labs that I never included. So she started running C-reactive protein. She started running to see if I had lupus. She started running to see if that the combination of C3, C4 labs, and some other one. When she got the results back, ANA came out positive. C-reactive protein was high. C3 and C4 were high. I didn't have lupus. It didn't come up. She was also leaning towards scleroderma too, because she was like, certain things which, she was leaning towards scleroderma, and that came out negative. So when those test results came back, I said to her, well, I think it's time for me to see a rheumatologist. I really would feel comfortable if I get checked out thoroughly by a rheumatologist, because I want to make sure what's going on with me. So she referred me to a rheumatologist. Unfortunately, when it comes to going to a doctor in the hospital, appointments don't come frequently. You have to go accordingly what availability there is. So I didn't get to see the doctor until, I would say, September of 2018. Saw him. He ran some more tests. Pretty much the same thing. Now, luckily, I saved a copy of the same report that I gave to my doctor, so I brought it with me to the rheumatologist, because he was asking me all these specific questions and all the stuff, and I was just like, well, here it is. And so he looked through it. He took note of everything. He took note of my family history, because the funny thing is that my family don't have UCTD. Nobody has UCTD. The only thing that my family has is like lupus, and there's a lot of cancers of various types in my that runs in my family. So, he knocked that stuff down. So next thing you know, he's like, well, we're gonna do is gonna run another test and see what happens, and I'll see you in December. December came, I saw him. Pretty much the ANA came out negative, which is not a surprise because I always heard that you could come out positive and then negative on the second round or the third round. So it came out negative, but everything else still was high. So he sat down with me. He's like, well, I've been looking at through everything, and you are falling under the category of undifferentiated connective tissue disease. And I was like, okay. So, he goes to me, but you gotta also be careful because, when it comes to this disease, it's still unknown for us in the medical community because it's still very rare, and which is true because I did some research, and it's not very well known for a lot of us who knows the struggle of UCTD. So he goes, you need to try to minimize the stress. That's one. And also try to keep having a healthy diet. Because we don't know what causes this, and we're not sure how to treat it. But we will continue monitoring. So I was just like, great. So when I got home, I started looking through, all of us who are going through this, we go through the web, and I read a little bit more of the detailed information about it. And so it left me thinking, and I was like, okay, so I gotta really be really careful on how I deal with things, because in that time all the way till most recently, I was going through a lot of stresses, and when it comes to dealing with that, you got to be really careful, because the way that they describe the UCTD is that, unfortunately, when it comes to this particular disease, that it could go into 3 different ways. It could progress into either or diseases, which I was falling under the category of either lupus or scleroderma. So if my body decides to go, because right now they're fighting. I call it the Royal Rumble inside my body. They're fighting to get control of my whatever they're going to get control. So it could go either or. They could elevate to the next disease. Or it could go into remission. So I've been trying to keep myself under control of not trying to stress too many things. And believe me, I am going through stress like crazy right now. But I'm trying to work with the stress and learning how to cope with not letting it get me out of control. But I want everybody to do is, when you see these videos, I'm sharing the stories because I know there's not enough people out there with the faces that have UCTD. And I want to be the one to, pretty much encourage you guys. I want you to take away this video as, no, you're not going to watch me die. But I want you to take away this video with that I'm going to keep pushing forward. And I'm going to be the one pushing you guys to keep pushing forward. Because we can't let this, control us. You can't. Yes, it's very disheartening. because there's some days that I'm in a good, moment that I'm getting up healthy, feeling like almost normal. And then there's days that I'm just literally struggling to make it out and walking out and functioning. But I'm going to be continuously persistent to keep pushing forward. And I am going to be the one to tell you guys, hey, let's keep pushing forward. We could do this. So I'm going to share a lot of moments that it's going to be, you're going to see my struggles, my bad days. You're going to see my struggles. But also you're going to see those moments in my good days. And I'm going to keep pushing. So you guys could be inspired to keep pushing forward too. And we're going to be the face of everyone to say we are achieving this control of ourselves and not let any chronic illness dictate us of how we should live our lives. So I'm going to end this video right now. I will definitely have other types of videos that go with this, because this is not like the end of this, but it's definitely a continuation. And if you see my video and if you find it interesting, please give it a like. And so anybody that was going through the same things that we are going through could see what, maybe they might have similarities in this disease, because I know UCTD it doesn't categorize us the same symptoms, because we all have various symptoms of UCTD. We could have maybe the mild symptoms, some people might have the advanced symptoms, and it varies. But at least to have somebody to see this video and say, okay, well, I could see that she's going through this. Maybe, it makes you think like the other stuff that maybe you might have and you didn't really notice that you have. So, it just helps the video circulate, and so maybe somebody might benefit from seeing this. Also, yeah, you see, the mental fog kicked in. Oh my gosh. Anyway, and if you're new to the channel, please, if you want to continue seeing my videos, please give it a subscribe to the channel, because it will help also to keep the videos going, and it will help me to put more content out there and help you guys, through all the transitions that you guys are going through this. And I hope to see you on my next video, and I hope everybody stays safe, and I'll see you soon in my next video.